I actually think I like the sequel better than the original. Let's do it. The collection is about this girl named Elena who goes to a party with some friends one night and they're all having a grand old time until everybody dies. We see a very familiar masked figure who we know as the collector standing above watching everybody as he murders them. Elena wasn't in the main club when this happened, so she survives. She's in a separate area and she goes into this room where she sees a very familiar chest. She hears banging from in the chest, and when she opens it, she finds our boy Arkin from the first movie still alive. Elena panics and runs away, where she runs into her friend Missy, who she then has to watch be crushed and killed by an elevator along with others. The collector then shows up behind Elena and kidnaps her as Arkin jumps out a window and escapes. Arkin then goes to the hospital and is arrested, for the whole breaking and entering thing from the last movie. And when he wakes up in his room one night, he sees this man Lucello at the foot of his bed. Lucello shows Arkin a picture of Elena and asks if she was alive the last time he saw her, which Arkin says yes. Turns out Elena's dad is super fucking rich and hired this guy and a bunch of other people to go in and save Elena and kill the collector. But Lucello tells Arkin, if you lead us to the collector, we'll completely expunge your record, we'll take care of you. So Arkin's like, okay, I'll do it, I'll bring you there, but I'm not going inside. When Arkin got kidnapped in the last movie, as the collector was driving, Arkin was making a bunch of marks in his arms to mark left, right, whatever. So ultimately, Arkin is able to lead the team to an abandoned hotel where the collector is. So Arkin brings them there and picks the lock and goes to leave, and Lucello's like, yeah, I fucking lied to you, you're coming in with us, bitch. So they all enter the collector's death dungeon. Meanwhile, we see Elena wake up in the chest where she looks through a peephole and sees a guy being tortured. Elena manages to get out of the trunk, which then the collector comes in and sees, but he's distracted because he hears an alarm when the team enters the hotel. The team's walking through the hotel and we see the lookout that they have outside be killed by the collector. And then all of a sudden, Arkin is attacked by this guy in a straitjacket. The team manages to kill him, but they notice these needles all over the floor and they put together that the collector is creating these zombies basically. And all of a sudden a horde of them comes out of nowhere and attacks the team. And we, the audience, see the collector watching above as this unfolds. Meanwhile, Elena manages to escape the room she's in through a vent and she gets to another room where she finds another chest. And she opens it and finds this girl named Abby. As they're wandering through trying to find a way out, Abby starts acting super weird and starts saying he likes me, talking about the fucking murderer that captured them. And then she starts screaming to alert the collector where they are. So he shows up, Elena runs away, and the collector chases after her, but she manages to outsmart him and get away. Meanwhile, the team encounters another zombie who this time has something strapped to his neck that explodes. In the confusion, one of the team members die and Arkin manages to get away because he does not want to be with these fucking people in this death dungeon. And Arkin comes across this crazy room of all preserved insects and animals and humans in these tanks. Elena, now alone, finds this room where there is a hole in the wall, and outside the hole she can see these two men and she tries to scream for them, but they don't hear her. Meanwhile, Lucello finds Arkin and they also find Abby. One of the other team members, Paz, gets dragged away, but Elena ends up finding her and saving her. And all of them, including Abby, reunite, and Elena tries to tell Lucello, no, don't trust her, she's crazy, but nobody really listens to her, I don't fucking know why. Elena shows them the hole in the wall and the two men outside, and Arkin's like, I got an idea. And he takes Lucello's gun and shoots one of them in the leg to attract police. The police then show up and Arkin takes another shot, which then leads the police to bring a SWAT team into the hotel. So they think they're all good and they're just gonna wait it out until the Stockholm Syndrome bitch Abby starts screaming for the collector again. Paz punches her in the face and she ends up backing into a trap and dying. But not before the collector could hear her, because then he shows up with his dogs and this massive weapon. He attacks the group where he grabs Elena and runs away with her again. Lucello gets stuck in a trap, which if he moves from is going to kill him, so he's stuck. He tells Arkin and Paz to go save Elena. So they find her in this cage, but unfortunately it's another trap, and when they go to untie her, a cage closes around them and traps them in. The collector then taunts them and sets a wick to set a fire to the place. Arkin manages to re-break his arm and get it out of the grates and unlock the door, so the three of them get out. So Elena, Arkin, and Paz get to the room where the preserved bodies are, and now fire's blazing everywhere, but they realize that there's a door. But the collector comes in and kills Paz and then attacks Arkin. But as he's about to kill Arkin, Lucello shows up and attacks him. This gives Arkin enough time to collect himself, but unfortunately the collector kills Lucello. R.I.P., you were a good one. But at this point, our boy Arkin has had enough, and he just starts beating the shit out of this guy. And ultimately manages to throw the collector down an elevator chute where he then lands on a pile of bodies and cans of gasoline. And Arkin throws a lit piece of paper down there and sets him on fire. Meanwhile, Elena makes it to the door, which is over here. There's a police department on the other side of the door now breaking the door down. And Arkin goes to follow her, but a beam falls on fire and he's unable to get out. He's completely trapped. And he lays down and kind of just gives up at this point, but Elena has a great idea. She takes a pole and starts smashing all of these tanks, which releases enough water to put out the fire and let Arkin get to the door. And Arkin and Elena make it out safe on the other side. Elena reunites with her father, and Arkin sees a lineup of chests that the police just pulled out of the place. And in one of the chests, he sees the collector's mask smoldering, meaning this motherfucker got out. But it doesn't end there. The next shot we see is this guy entering his house. We never see his face. He turns on the radio and goes upstairs when he hears the radio downstairs change. He comes down in a panic and then looks in his living room and sees a red chest. And then we see Arkin directly behind him holding him at gunpoint. Arkin tells him that he investigated every entomologist within a 200-mile radius of the hotel, and that's how he tracked him down. And the collector asks Arkin, "Are you going to kill me?" And Arkin says, "Oh no, that's too nice. You're going to feel everything that I felt." And then attacks him and locks him in his own chest. And that's it. The movie ends. All hail King Arkin.